I didn't repost it to my page. Am I a fraud? And then after next is gonna have to be for sure. What you call it? Hardcore leveling work, because that I have not read at least since. Oh brother, who knows?
I read that in almost 2 years.
It has been that long. It hasn't been a year. It's been at least 4 months for me, and I can technically take away 3 weeks, if you will, because of stuff.
Oh, I just realized they were right. That is the conflict. See, this is why I like talking to niggas about shit. Cause then I realize shit that see, only me though. Only I can turn this story into something a little bit deeper with the theme. Only I. All right. I'll wait till we start the stream to talk about it. I feel so obnoxious.
I'm still trying to decide what I want to do after for webtoons.
I mean, if I could get y'all to read random chatting or fucking
That's on the list. That's on the list. Omniscient Reader. I gotta catch back up to Weak
I am the
Hero.
Grim Reaper.
I like that. I read
Man,
that. I used to read that.
okay, yeah,
I
that
don't
it's
have to read it
it's
now.
it's it's scurried up. I don't know how you feel about Purple Hyacinth. You might or might not like that.
No,
That's the story I read.
I'm gonna read that one too. Um, I only got like 6 chapters of that one, maybe.
Why do they want you to read Omniscient Reader? Like I like Omniscient Reader, but it ain't nothing special. What is worth about
Uh,
Omniscient?
I don't know. Let's pop it. It's what the youth like, man. I don't know what to tell you, sir.
Yeah, pretty much. Cause it's, I mean, nothing too crazy. I mean, I'll say it like this: shit happens, but it's like I don't know. It's got some of the problems. The same thing a lot of the Korean webtoons got and shit like that. It's just like shit happening, but nothing happening.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
like, and also just like I don't know. Like it's only so much you could do with your fucking main character. At least in this story, he's not the most overpowered thing. He's overpowered, but he's not the most overpowered person in the fucking thing.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't know. Where's the conflict with all that?
Hmm.
That's why I like fucking because all the stories I read, I felt like I was reading for webtoon was really good.
Hmm.
Fucking like I said, random chatting, unordinary, weak hero, fucking what's that other one with the fucking zombies? That's a real zombie story.
Oh,
Uh,
not Bass. Is it Bass for Sweet Home?
Rebirth.
Oh no, that one. Shit.
No, Rebirth. It's
Mm-hmm.
Rebirth. I'm talking
Mm-hmm.
about Rebirth.
You really like streaming
Damn, I
late,
haven't
huh?
read that almost a year.
If you must. How have you been? Good. I seen you reading Hardcore Leveling. You made me feel bad about it, Zodiac. I haven't read that shit in like 4 months. I gotta get on it. Random chatting, Nemesis for me on Ordinary. Okay, lately. Class found together. Yeah, don't worry. We will be. I'll be back with Hardcore Leveling. Just let me get through Kubera. I'm right there, and like I'm actually amped to finish it and catch up. So like I'll be done soon.
Wow, it took 200 chapters or whatever,
No,
but
no,
he
no, no, no,
finally
no.
is.
Nah, nah. I guess I call it because it's season 2, and it's okay. By the time we got to her trial, I was so in. I couldn't stop. I didn't stop. Like
Okay, okay.
I finished the second season before I put those videos up. So
But that's what it is. That's what I told you. I said the beginning beat your ass, but when everything started happening,
mhm.
you was pretty good.
I'm
It just takes so long to get there.
mhm.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, what
It's
else?
not a series I want to reread all the time.
Oh, idea. What else? He buy a baseball collection. He wants to see my baseball
Uh,
collection. This might not be too long. We haven't spoken about Unordinary at all in a long time, and it's pretty late, and I do have work tomorrow. But listen, I uh, Unordinary lost. I lost interest for such a long time, and I can't necessarily say my interest has been repeaked. But a lot of things have happened that are pretty good, I would say. The last time that we spoke about Unordinary in general, I was hyping up Zeke. Zeke, Zeke, Zeke got his shit waxed and said, "Hey, if you can't beat him, join him." And he said, "Yo, Team John, let's go. I'll be your right hand man. Who I need to take out? Give me the hit list. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Safe club? Ain't no safe club in this school, bitch." Like I never seen something like that in my life. I loved it. I loved it. What's up, face? I loved it. That shit was dope. So yeah. Well, yeah. How have you felt about the recent chapters? More interesting, less interesting. I'll say this: Arlo has been the one thing. Well, obviously, I'm an Arlo fan. If you don't know this, you see him right there on the left. Yellow hair, don't care. Blue eyes, yes sir. Yeah, seeing his growth has just been my favorite thing as a character. He's getting better and better. I love it. I love it. I love how nonchalant he is with John at this point. John's like, "Hey, where the fuck you going? I ain't not talking to you." Like, bro, you could whoop me. We know this. Can I leave? Like, who cares? Like, he's just like, bro, I love it. I love it. How you feel though? I know you a John stan, so.
Oh, because listen, this story, it's long, but so is redemption. Redemption is a long road, and that is the main point of this story. Now, I'm not gonna excuse the pacing issues. I feel like it's gathered back to form though.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm borrowing this take from somebody I talked to, and basically, this story is about presenting you three different um arguments. So you got man versus man. First, it was Arlo versus John. That's how it all started at Wellston. They couldn't let it go. Then it was
Mm-hmm.
man versus society. Then that was the whole Joker arc. Now is man versus self, and that's the this redemption arc. So for me,
Mm-hmm.
I read this because I like the realistic portrayal of society. I like that. Now, obviously, yeah, you can't get along with everything that John did. My problem was never that. I understood that. My problem was everybody else was excusing the shit that everybody else does. Everybody else was doing that played their role in this. But
Mm-hmm.
now that she beat that fucking point over and over and over and over,
Oh, brother, did she beat
that
it?
yeah, she beat it dead. I was like, yeah, I got it. I will not excuse that. We got it. She did not have to make the character. John beat the other characters like 800 times. You really only needed to do that twice. And for whatever reason, she thought we needed to do it like 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
But the things that happened to her, I've been saying from the very beginning, when nobody listened to me, the man obviously got mental health issues. It was obvious to me. And this basically, I'm basically the fucking East of Unordinary. I just know all this shit. And he had fucking mental health issues. It was obvious to me. Whatever happened to him at that fucking detention center with Keon's power, we still
Mm-hmm.
not even 100% how it worked. But it fucked him really bad. He
Yeah.
can't even tell like reality from what he did. He just so stuck. Now that's not absorbing him from the fucking accountability that he still needs to take of because this shit is still his fault. He played his part in it just like everybody else did.
Mm-hmm.
And after we saw the backstory and all the shit that happened with Claire, we realized that yeah, she didn't do it for power. She did to help her friend, but he was just too lost in his bullshit. So yeah, we'll see how it goes, how he plans to fucking make everything right because there is no clear way to do that. There's no easy way to do that. Just like in real life, when you fuck up, there's not always everybody's gonna forgive you, and it's not gonna happen in 2 seconds.
Oh my god, that scared
So
the shit out of me. Thank you for whatever. What was that? I don't know what that was. It scared the fuck out of me. Zodiac said
but
something.
it's
Thank you,
it's a
sir.
long
I
road.
appreciate.
It's the
Oh,
long
he
road,
gifted.
baby.
Oh, gifted. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Now. All right. So here's y'all already know I'm not. I don't. John is the bozo. You see the fucking title. I don't. I think one thing people misunderstand is they think that I don't think he has a point. That's never been my issue. He has a point. It's just, dude, you're not the only person who's going through this. It's the fact that he's so blinded by everything that's going on that he can only see his hurt. And I'm like, dog, I'm not gonna hold
That's
you.
real. That's real people.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
real
yeah.
people,
No, no,
man.
no. At the end of the day, I think we're the same on this point where we're like, from an actual standpoint of like a character really struggling with the duality of their personality, basically being broken because of Keon, this and that, and the third, we understand that it taking this long makes sense. What we're like is we still gotta read this shit a week to week, right? That was the
Yeah, that
problem.
that was a problem. That was definitely a problem. That's unarguable.
Yeah,
Even the biggest unordinary stand, you can't argue that.
yeah,
That was hard to read for months.
yeah, yeah. So it is what it is. And oh yeah, he's a kid, never mind, and they think they're okay. That's fair. I'm not denying all of that. My point is, I'm a reader. I still have to experience this thing from week to week, blah blah yada yada. Now I always say this with webtoons like this specifically. I always feel like they become aimless for a time. I I can't think of many webtoons like this where at some point I was like, bro, what are we doing? I can go as I could do this with Noblesse. Actually, Noblesse I can do this with. I can do this with Girls with the Wilds. I can do this with Lookism. I can do this with An Ordinary, whatever. Like, there's always this point where I'm like, bro, what are we? Even Windbreaker, like, what are we doing? Where's the
Yeah,
purpose? We're just shit's just happening for no reason. I'm reading a chapter and then I'm like, ugh, nothing got accomplished. And I felt like An Ordinary was doing that because here's one thing about me, right? Like you said, John, oh, everyone's so mean to him. Oh yeah, blah blah yada yada. The nail is in place. It's there. The table has been built. The nails are in, and she's still hammering. We're actually damaging the table now. Like,
yeah.
can we move on?
Like I can't. Like I said, I'm not gonna argue because I'd be a hypocrite if I argue.
Mm-hmm.
Because some people, this is an argument that every manga and every manga fan tries to use to the fucking defend something where we're talking about the execution of a story, and we're just you try to explain to people the end goal, the end thing of what we're getting to. We all understand that. Nobody is saying that's the incorrect path to take because it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's just sometimes how we got there is the problem. Because everybody's just like, oh, the whole journey and all that stuff. But my thing is, if I wasn't enjoying that part of the journey, it don't matter if I get there if you wore me out by the time I get there. If we climbing up a mountain and by the time I get there, nigga, I lost an arm and a leg or some shit. Shit wasn't worth it, dude. Like I'm not gonna get to the mountain and be like, man, what a journey. Like, no, fuck that, dude. Why did I do this? Why did I put myself through this? Because you're not. It's just gonna take the shit out of you. So, like I said, I understand where y'all coming from.
Mm-hmm.
But she could have cut out probably like I don't know a month or two
Yeah,
worth of chapters
yeah.
and it would have had the same effect because we already had the thing about Ordinary. It already does a really good job setting up all this stuff from the very beginning. It's not like she just needed time to set this up and doing it now. She's been doing it the entire story.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like we didn't need to go this far. So it would have been fine if she could have cut the bullshit a lot sooner. The moment that Serafina found out that he was fucking um Joker, she could have cut a lot of that shit after that moment in half. Cause we were good once that happened. Once she found out, we could have just went straight into fucking like we need to get her power back a lot quicker. Like they took so long beating around the bush getting to the point of getting her powers, and that was the issue.
And I'm not gonna hold you. The chat is yelling at me. I have wings. I'll eat them after I stream. Um, what I was gonna say is that I I didn't like this confrontation with him and Serafina. I didn't like it. I thought it was whack. I thought I waited so long for this. I'm like, nah, bro. That's
I
just.
knew, I knew, I knew when it was coming though. I said they're not gonna actually fight.
Mm-hmm,
I knew that. I knew that would. I always knew. I said no because they're not built like that. Not
mm-hmm.
their particular relationship. I mean, she could have led it that direction, but it just wasn't that thing. I would have said this: if she would have did like a little clash, but had like no winner, that probably would have been the best way to go. But I think part of the reason she did that
Mm-hmm.
because she didn't want to be like, oh, one is stronger than the other. Because if you do that,
I was this
kind of
close to forsaking my guy, but to start with it by the end. Oh man, listen. I don't know. I just can't get behind John in anything he does. Like even right now, like all right, he's all like, Okay, here's my problem. I really not my problem. I really thought she was doing something so interesting with the duality of John. You know, brown paper bag Tuesday, Joker versus John Doe. You know what I'm saying?
Like every
And
webtoon though, every webtoon though, yeah.
but
Honestly, all these like slice of life webtoons all take forever to get to the
yeah,
point.
yeah, yeah. This is not even an uncommon thing. But even ones that have a focused central plot, if there's slice of life elements, sometimes that will get in the way of advancing stuff. Because Noblesse did this for a while, where like they were just running around doing shit. Niggas was eating noodles and like, bro, the Union, the Elders, like, what the fuck? Are we like, like what? So it just happens sometimes. But I felt like the confrontation that Sarah had with John was as generic as it comes. Like you can't see, but oh, the darkness is blinding you. Oh, your friends, I'm here. I won't give up. Like I'm like, are you guys fucking kidding me? Naruto versus Sasuke? I don't want. Take this the fuck out of my face. This was so whack. I waited this long. And when Sarah pulled up with her powers, I got hype. I said, "Oh shit, here we go." Then I was like, "No, that wasn't it. that, was, that was I didn't like that." But here's the thing that I'll say about everything that was going on. I spoke about Arlo's realization of the authorities. That was dope. I thought I like everything Blake was doing with the upper with the like little drug, the enhancer, him going to the principal. All of that stuff was pretty good. Um, I'm forgetting something. I'm forgetting something. It'll come to. Oh, Layla. There we go. Layla. So finding out more about Ember and stuff being tied to the authorities, that was cool and stuff. But I still don't think any of that like organization stuff outside of Wellston has really picked up or come full circle or gotten
See, I wish
interesting
you would have.
yet.
I wish you would have ended. I wish you would have ended one thing before she started another. Because it's
Mm-hmm.
like she put it in the middle of this whole redemption arc, and I would have rather her just like
Mm-hmm.
kind of put that in the background, close out this shit, and then let's jump straight into that.
Mm-hmm.
Because now she might have another 100 chapters of this story before we finally get everything together. Because
Yeah.
they like to run long, so we'll
Yeah.
probably be at chapter 300, 340, 350 before the story ends. I'm guessing.
Yeah. But yeah, Rapper Bragg John, Joker John over King John, that was wild. Good friend, but man, I think this could be the mental suit thing. Yeah, I mean, one thing that Vince went above and beyond and said that obviously there's something wrong with him mentally. I never went that far because I just didn't expect Uru-chan to really tackle it like that. But I always said that Keon, what he did more harm than good. Forcing me to relive my mistakes as a way to like condition me to not do it, it that's not the wave. Because remember how I always said, why the fuck did this stupid ass nigga decide to become say I'm a cripple and have no powers? Because Keon's influence forced him to believe that if he uses his power, he absolutely cannot rein it in the slightest. Not at all. And I've been consistent at that point. I just said that there comes a point where you're lashing out. It's just you at this point. It's no. It doesn't matter. I don't care who pushed you here. It doesn't matter how you got here. You refuse to move from this position, from this part of the cliff. So that's been my. I've been pretty consistent on John in that right. So yeah.
See, and like I said, I don't think that 100% wrong. Because like I said, I definitely saw that web book. Because I'm definitely somebody who will tell you that at some point, people got to take responsibilities for the action. Yes, your environment did this to you. Yes, this happened to you. Yes, this happened to you. But
Mhm.
at the end of the day, you're the only one who can change that.
Yeah.
So that's still the point, and that point still has to be made. But at the what Keon did to him was basically, I mean, we're kind of seeing the results of it now. If you're caught up to the thing without the fast pass, because his dad basically told him like, yeah, Claire came to me and tried to do this, this, and that. And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Keon made him relive through his perspective of the fucking events
Mhm.
that happened so much that he don't even know what the truth is. This
Mhm.
nigga been doing this, been basically living a lie. He been fighting a lie the entire time.
Yeah.
He thought his best friend betrayed him, and he probably was gonna think that anyway.
Mhm.
But this could have been solved years ago if they just fucking had some proper counseling. But that's not what they did. Instead of trying to properly reform, like it's like the prison system. and that's what she's comparing this to.
Mhm.
Is if you properly try to reform people instead of doing it this way, putting them in this cage and then sending them back to real life where they no longer can function under real life rules, they're bound to fuck up again.
Mhm.
So she's making that point, but she's still making the point that you still have to fix the shit yourself.
Yes.
So both points are being made. You
Go.
can't
Yeah.
you can't lean too far on one or the other.
One thing that we like me, you, Simi, even when Satsuki and Darius and stuff used to talk with us about this. One thing we've been pretty consistent on is that nobody is really in nobody. Everybody has something they need to take accountability for, even if that's being naive or oblivious, like Remy, right? We could see that she's obviously a good, like a nice girl. She wants to help, but her being unable to see the privilege that she had for so long, that was an issue. It doesn't matter if you were trying to help. You didn't know how. Like, so you know what I'm saying? So when Golden A says John, like he does, but Keon has to take responsibility too, yes, everybody is responsible to some degree. There's blame pie for everybody. I just need some. It was just some of them John arguments. I'm like, bro, why y'all acting like no one else went through this? Like, he's not the only one. To the point where Keon said, all you late bloomers are like this. I caught that. It means he's
Yeah.
not unaccustomed to dealing with people who bloom late and get their powers. But here's what I want to ask you, Vince, because I'm kind of worried this is the direction we're going in, and I personally think this will cheapen the whole John experience. Do you think Uru-chan is going to try to put the blame on Keon by saying what he did really damaged his recovery, which led
No,
him to this point? You don't think so?
no.
Okay.
The reason I don't think so because he wouldn't be going to the store and wouldn't be talking to Adrian, probably re confronting Claire at some point. I
Mm.
think she's making it clear that he has to take accountability for this. Because why the fuck go home then? Unless Keon's there, which I don't know. Neither one of us know that.
Mm.
Is Keon like is he located in his hometown? But no, I don't think she's doing that because why go home? Why have the conversations with your dad? Why go see the boy at the store and do all that? Because he has to learn the truth for himself and realize that he was the fucking problem.
Mm.
Because when he came home, he had the whole nightmare and stuff like that. And he's living his truth. He's living his perspective. But that perspective is not right.
Okay.
Now, I think she's taking the super long route, which, like I said, I'm not a big fan of any of these webtoons
Like he's going
doing
back
that
to
either.
New Boston from his roots. Like
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
She's starting from like ground zero. She's like, because basically she's going for, I think, you can't be forgiven or redeemed in like one singular moment. It's not gonna make all this right.
Because he even
And
still
another,
lashed out on Adrian. So
yeah, yeah. Like he's not gonna change in a day. He didn't change the last time. He's not gonna change in a day. It's gonna take some time. But yeah, I don't think she's going the other route.
mm. The reason why I kind of they literally unintentionally radicalized him, or more for ruining because his ability formed it. I think it's a kid thing. I can accept that. John never met anyone else like him, like Gara. Oh God, not Gara. Naruto and the both being thing.
I mean, that's
I
the only that
I'm
the
fast
Gara
pass too. I'm
Naruto thing
fast
is the
pass
only
too.
thing.
I didn't want. I'm not allowed to talk about fast pass. I know that's a thing. Like we can't really do. So,
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
because I felt like I think Golden A said this a bit earlier. I don't remember when he said it, but like I felt like when his dad said something on the lines like, "Yo, who told you that? Like, where'd you get that from? Like, why? When did you become so self deprecating?" And then there was that image of like Keon with his like hand over his head on some Galactus gonna crush the Earth type beat, and I'm like, please don't tell me she's gonna do this. Don't do that. Don't put all the blame or most of the blame on Keon. Let John take accountability for the things he did on his own. Because to me,
No, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
feel the opposite of you guys. I feel like she Uru-chan is about to make this. You see, and even Sarah was able to actually discern that like Keon was the officer that like whatever was because like why did John act like weird or scared when he was around? Like I feel like she knows, and she might confront him in some like I feel like I don't know personally I feel like Keon is gonna
No,
be
I think that point is gonna be tied to the whole fucking societal point
okay.
more than anything.
Okay, fair enough.
That this whole society is broken. They already addressed the school. Now they're addressing it. The figure has the police force and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like she's going in a very long direction to touch on every single little thing in society. It's just taking a really long time to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Because she basically touched on the school, she touched on the students in the school, she touched on late bloomers, then she touched on the citizen people, and she just going this very long route. And then even like Sarah's sister, the part she played and helping developing this bullshit to take away power because she fucking got her shit abused. I mean, apparently she was developing it for a different reason,
Yeah.
and it ain't get used for that reason. It got abused. So
And Layla wants Doctor Darren for something because remember when they gave him the thing to analyze. Apparently, that's what he did in school before he became a nurse. So, and they kind of brought the point up like, what made you want to become a
I mean, you
nurse?
knew, yeah, you knew that man was made for great things. You
Yeah,
called it.
that's me. He's literally me.
Yeah.
So that's me. Like you take Arlo, you fuse him with Doctor Darren, you just got me and unordinary. She's got me. Especially like Doctor Darren's my spirit animal. It's like, bro, leave me the fuck alone. I'm just trying to get. I'm just trying to do the minimum amount of work and go home and get the fuck out of here. All these mosh up broken kids coming into my broken arm, bro. What do I look like? So I feel it. That's my goal, man. Um, Okay, shit. What was I gonna ask you about Layla? Do you think that he's gonna leave the school and go work with Layla at Ember or whatever? Because it looks like they're trying to recruit him.
Dr. Darren?
Yeah, because it seemed like he's not trying. He does not fuck with how the principal runs the school, and I felt like they've been hammering the point in a little bit that clearly he has a skill set that's not related to to like medicine. Like he's a scientist somewhat because they asked him
You
to
know, that's a good
analyze.
question.
Yeah, remember they asked him to analyze the booster, like the enhancement drug, and then he's like, I'm a doctor, I'm a nurse. Why are you giving this to me? Like, you did this shit in high school or university or whatever the fuck it was. And then later on, when the students came in, they asked him why he became a nurse or whatever. He's like, yo, shut the fuck up. And then he got that text from Layla, my boss will call you soon. I think he's about to be the fuck out of there.
Maybe. Yeah. You know what? I didn't even think about that too much, but yeah, he
Mm.
definitely will have his role to play, and I could never see him leave school. But also, I mean, his school ain't never been what it seemed anyway. The whole principal's role and whoever that I forgot whoever that nigga who be in there with them with the blonde hair, I think, right?
Mm.
Glasses,
I,
shit
f-
like that.
I feel you,
The
Golden Ace.
school ain't never been. The school ain't never been what it felt like because the principal was just letting all this happen. Like, what in the school you just know principal just letting this shit happen.
He seems
Even
to be trying to like let the students figure out what needs to be done, sort of, because he seemed very impressed with Blake's assertiveness to like get the safe house popping. Like I hear you,
yeah,
I
I
hear
guess
you. He's not a good principal, but I think he just has
yeah.
a bigger like grand design, big picture point to make, and he thought John might be able to like because of the situation he's been in, as being basically a cripple to a low tier, to a mid tier, to a high tier. So he's been like all forms. He's been in all positions of society, if you will. I thought that maybe he'd be the one because remember the principal was disappointed in him for the way he's been acting. Like,
Yeah.
yo, you're a disappointment. You're a
Well, he
letdown.
seems to be in a position where he's like, I can't like, he can't preach that. He can't tell them that.
Mm,
That basically would be treason against the society. It'd
mm,
be like talking about the gospel of an ordinary. So he can't say that. So I think he was hoping, yeah, like you said, with John's
Yay!
entry into the
We need to
school and
peace,
him being in that
peace.
position and secretly being the strongest,
mm.
that he could enact that change. Which I thought even if you want to do that though, I still think he could have went about it a better way because he was completely hands off,
Mm.
and you can't be 100% hands on either.
Thank you for
But
the
he was just
sub,
way too
Sykes.
hands
Yeah, it's
off.
5 months. I gotta change some of these badges for like the later months. By the way, sorry. Yeah, keep going.
Oh yeah, it's all good. He's just way too hands off for me.
Mm. Yeah, I get you. He's too hands off. Like
Yeah.
there's a middle ground. Like protect the students, nigga. Damn. So that's the least you
Or at
can
least
do.
talk to John, like try to talk to John, even if it's in like a riddle weed, because they be having old wise talking.
Yeah,
You can talk
I was gonna say that.
roundabout riddle
I
ways.
was gonna say if you have to be that the fake wise old man, when it's like you gotta nudge them in the right direction with that pseudo wisdom. Like, well, John, you see, what you need to do is what has never been done. Therefore, you're the one who can do it because you're in a position no one's ever been in. And it's like think about what position what makes you special. And now you gotta figure that shit out when he's walking around school. Like some shit like that. So I hear you. I feel it.
Yeah, that would have really that would have. I don't think that works all the time, but that would have really worked here. I think in this story, particularly, it'd been nice to see see an adult care.
Mhm.
Cause that's one thing about this story that like, cause I think like this and MHA are very similar in a bunch of ways as far as like
I
the
hear you.
political messages they're trying to send with society and
And
effect on superheroes.
and it's probably a world where like, well, I can't say for sure, but at the very least, not having a power is probably more rare than having one, even if it's a weak one. So
Yeah, so it'd have been nice to see, but it'd have been nice to see adults who want change also. So it's
yeah,
just like they gotta be
yeah.
more hands on.
It seems to me like most of these adults that we've seen are either, they've accepted the world as what it is because they're either like the principal or something in a position of power or good status and they're good, or they're oppressed and they're just like, this is the way it is. There's just nothing we can do about it. We just live in this impoverished neighborhood. Authorities don't come here. This nigga tweaking off drugs and now he more powerful. We can't stop him. So yeah. So what do you think's gonna happen with Blake? Do you think that because the principal said he's going to defend him because eventually the authorities are going to recognize who he is and his power of propulsion? Do you think something's gonna happen to him? Do you think he's gonna get got?
Well, I think all of them are gonna get God at some point anyway, because
Okay.
fucking they're gonna. Cause we still don't know what's his name got the list for. What's it? Terrence.
Mm-hmm.
Terrence will still have the list. We'll try to recruit people and stuff like that. So at some point, I guess there's gonna. I don't want to say like a war, because that's too big a word. But there's gonna be some point, some infiltration into the
Mm-hmm.
school and targeted
Mm-hmm.
students, like especially the high.
Yeah.
Speaking of wars, though, I kind of wish that turf war shit would have been a little bit better. Now, looking back at it, that's one thing I could have said for season one. I wish that turf war shit had way
At
more
least
like,
some school games, like how Simi says it, games.
yeah,
I can't do how he does
it
it.
would have been really cool to have more fighting in the series in that way too, instead of these one-sided beatdown.
Yeah.
It like because that would have been a good way to help like explore the power in the power system and get people stronger and stuff like that.
Mm.
She could have explored it, but she decided to go more of the political route instead of the battle shonen type route,
Yeah.
which is cool. I don't have a problem with
And
that. I,
then and
I
then
probably would
she
have liked a little more balance.
but then she went full battle shonen for Sarah versus John. So sorry, that shit. I I honestly couldn't believe how like run of the mill that I was so like
I get it. I get it.
because I like their first talk. Remember the first talk they have in the room, and
Yeah,
after like that to me that was impactful. I love how that happened. Now when she came
yeah.
out
They
with the
should have threw fist.
powers,
They should have threw fist.
I
Yeah.
said okay, let's do this. And then it's
Like
just
I
like
said, you didn't need a winner. You just needed to punch each other long enough so he could see
yeah.
and realize what he was doing. Because if he's that lost in the rage
Mm,
and in the darkness, she got to be the one that kind of like punch him out of it. They punch, and maybe she starts losing. And when he sees what he's doing to his former best friend, he got to snap out of it.
yeah,
When he realized he's trying to actually kill her or some shit.
yeah. If John had a rival,
John did. I don't agree with that golden ace. He didn't need no rival because I don't think that wouldn't have served the purpose of what they were trying to.
yeah,
Because if you would have had a rival, he would have just been the exact same as all the other high tiers. He wouldn't have been no different.
yeah.
It kind of would have defeated the purpose of what she tried to do.
And
If
and
he was gonna have a rival, it's
and if
open
that
sore.
guy is just as stubborn as John is, and they're supposed to be somewhat equal, they would just go back and forth. I would imagine, right?
Yeah,
So
it's been some Aikanu what's this Koji shit.
oh, rival school. Okay, sorry.
Oh,
Okay.
rival
Like a
school.
collective of niggas. Oh, you want to get into our crows bag? We want Hosen versus Suzu
Yeah,
now.
now
No.
see that now that would have changed the whole
That
story
would
too.
have
Though, I feel.
banged. Are
That
you
would have banged. That would have
crazy?
banged.
That would have been
That would have banged.
dummy. That would have been dummy. Oh my goodness, that's crazy.
Nah, I still probably would have wanted to keep John out of it
Mm.
because he
Yeah,
still might have fucking
yeah.
just demolished everything.
I need Uber to stop doing these fights. I'm not fucking with it. She has moments and sequences that are good. I didn't
He's just
necessarily
short,
I
one-sided.
didn't necessarily dislike the like artistry of the fight. I just couldn't believe how one like I could probably think of eight, best friend, one went too far interaction. I have to bring it back to the light that went beat for beat like that. That's my problem. Even to the point where he's like, I'm a monster. I don't deserve forgiveness. I said, give me a break, nigga. Oh my god. I'm
I
sorry.
think I think I think her fucking
I think her action scenes are decent.
Mm-hmm.
They're not,
Mm-hmm.
especially for webtoons. They're not obviously to the level of some other mediums and manga and other shit. But for webtoons, especially, I thought they were pretty good. I think I my thing is though is we're in a superpowered society, and I feel like she was unlike a older or something. She didn't have quite the creativity fucking
Mm-hmm.
these little powers enough. Like they do a lot of fist fighting in the ordinary. Like honestly, if we're being serious, like John wins 90% because he just can fight.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
ninety
yeah.
percent of the reason why he wins.
Yeah, no, no, like he has like he's pretty well trained too because of William because he could fight.
Yeah,
So then he also spent so much time at the bottom. So he yeah. So yeah, he's hard to beat, man. But me and you are we always say this, we're accustomed to seeing like main characters in webtoons being broken in some facet. It's usually like this. We even go so far to be like there's niggas from like Sweet Guy, Love Parameter and shit like that where it's like this is a smut one, they're still busted. This nigga can see stats. This nigga if you touch him, you just want
yeah,
to fuck him. Then there was
yeah.
the dude from oh shit, what was it? He was called like an Inuk. Like he couldn't get hard. And then he
Oh, the
got
eunuch from Brawl and Go. From
Brawl
Brawl
and
and
Go,
Go.
Brawl and Go, like him, and he got the Baka hammer, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know what it is about these webtoons, but they love their MCs to just be OD strong. It's crazy, always.
Yeah, like honestly, if she could have just, they also love to over dramatize. Like I know all these this particular medium and manga tend to do that. They just kind of overdo it a little bit with the terms of just like I'm a monster stuff like that. Like at that point, if she really wanted to like snap John out of it and shit like that, because my thing was he's still been fighting the demon inside himself the entire time. But first of all, one, I think that should have started a little bit earlier
Mm-hmm.
because it kind of I felt like it kind of came like late. He's still struggling with the internal strife, but we don't have that until literally second half. We still should have saw that, and honestly, I would have preferred if like we would have saw it more at like the beginning, and then in the whole this whole second half of the story so far, he would have got rid of that part of himself. He'd
Mm-hmm.
be like, you know, it's fucking, I don't need it anymore. Like, I don't need no empathy, no sympathy, none of that. And he just decided to rule the school with an iron fist with cronies and shit like that. I would have preferred a route going down like that, personally.
Mm-hmm.
Like him, Zeke, making some underlings under them, and then Serafina got to use everybody else to like block out them dudes so she can get the John herself 1-on-1,
Yeah.
and then they fight, and then she snap them back into it. That's the way I would have wrote it, but I'm not a writer, so
Mm. I don't know. I don't want to be the guy who's like I expected. I don't know. I don't even know what I expected though. That's the thing. I just didn't think it would be like that. But
no,
Sykes, wait, hold
it
on.
too much.
Sykes. If you're talking about when Blake was fighting like the Destructo disc guy, yeah, I didn't really care for that. When then the sword dude came at the end, yeah, I didn't care for that. That didn't really do much for me. I never really cared about all of that vigilante stuff. But Blake is like a character that I acknowledge his importance. I just don't have much. I don't really care for him like that. I thought
Yeah, me neither.
he probably would have been interested if he took the drugs, but crackhead mode, and he needed it. Then it would have been it would have been more interesting. I like Eason. Him I like. I don't really, like my favorite characters. For anyone who doesn't know, it's Darren, it's Arlo, it's Cecile, Zeke, and then it's I don't know, throw someone, Sarah maybe, probably Serafina. Those are probably my favorite five characters. Zeke, this friend doesn't know. I'm sorry, this shit was too funny what he did. He was a dickhead, the ultimate dickhead. He was the school bully, you know. John said, "All right, I'm actually the Joker. It's me." Beat his ass, and he came back and said, "Hey, yo, John, I'm finna be your right hand man. What's up? What do we do? Yo, who I gotta take out? Give me the list. Safe club in your school, John? Can't happen in your Wellston. Can't, like I mean, bro, he's sucking dick. Yo, this guy sucked up to him so fast, and I'm like, I respect it. I sorry, you top five. You'll never not be top five for that and that alone. I'm sorry. Shout out to Zeke, yo. Shout out
Yeah,
to Zeke.
I feel like this webtoon. I had it at the end of the first season. I had it at a 9 at this point. It's probably at an 8. Depending how the ending goes, I'll probably go back to like 8.5.
Yeah.
And I just feel like that's why I want you to read like random chatting because I feel like random chatting
Mhm.
does a lot of this shit better, but without the superpowers. Because if you're gonna do the superpowers, I need to take it up another notch.
Mhm.
So it's like if we're just gonna do slice of life shit, you could have
Mhm.
just did this with just martial arts or some shit, damn near.
Yeah.
Like so, like yeah,
Without
that's why like
without
random chatting wasn't
shield,
good.
John isn't being time control. That's interesting because I based on the interaction I saw, I agree. It doesn't look like John was able to copy your power, at least not yet. So I think if he
Golden
could,
Ace random chat is my favorite webtoon now.
hmm,
Basically, since fucking
let's see.
Tower of God has failed me
Y'all
and is
like,
gone.
yeah, so I don't know. Y'all like the old editor in chief? Listen, all I know is Cecile. She's the GOAT. She's just trying to make her newspaper. That's all I ever needed. So yeah, wasn't he fun as a ability? Yeah, I think he had Zeke's, Cecile's, not Eason, Remy's, and Arlo's. I don't know if he can like swap one out. I don't know how it works exactly. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've like read up on it.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I think 4 was his limit, at least for now, because who knows if he can go to 10. So he's at 7.5. So yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. I'll get to random chatting when I get to it, but it's not.
Fire.
It's not. I'm not getting to anything webtoon related until I'm done with Kubera. I'll be done soon though because shit's fire. So yeah.
Fire. More fire.
Shit had me in the mud, bro. I want to ask you this about Unordinary. 2 questions. First one is, what do you think Unordinary's strongest suit is? Like, what's his strongest trait as a webtoon? In your opinion, what do you think is
The theme the themes itself are the strongest. The way that she presents these themes are probably the best. And also I just kind of like the a lot of the realism portrayal of how more of these things will go because everybody made points. Because
mm-hmm.
sometimes you see manga or you read things where it's just like only the main character makes points or only the side characters tell you like, oh, you need to stop being like this. It's just like, yeah, but at some point, it's just like, everybody got a side and everybody makes points. That's like real human stuff. Like I can tell you, hey, nah, stop being a dickhead. You're acting like a dickhead, this, that, and that. But you could also be like, oh, you're prying too much into my life and this, that, and the other. And we both can be right. And that's kind of how I like about Northern Narrative. That I feel like multiple people are right and multiple people are wrong. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's some of the strongest aspects.
Yeah. Do I like Kubera over Unordinary? Oh yeah, Kubera is way better than Ordinary. That's not even. That's not. I didn't have to think about that. the
I mean,
only,
Kubera is better than most webtoons. It's written at a way higher
the
level.
only line webtoon I don't have Kubera over. I mean, I don't have yeah, Kubera over is Tower of God right now. That's it. I have Kubera right second right now. I'm not done
If
yet.
Kubera had fights, if Kubera had fights, we wouldn't even be having this conversation.
It's
I ain't
not.
gonna lie to
It's
you.
not even. It's
I would-
not even. It's not even that I necessarily don't feel like I could put it over TOG. You just know how I'm not. I'm not that. I'm not a prisoner of the moment type of guy. You know, I need that
Right.
consistency. If I like Kubera this much for like a year and a half, there'll come a point where I'm like, yeah. Especially if Tower God comes back and it's not hitting, and I feel like Kubera's doing better for elongated amount of time, I'm gonna gravitate to Kubera more. So that's just how I am. I like, let's say One Piece has been my favorite for years, right? Let's say I'm not feeling One Piece and I start reading JJK and I like JJK more than One Piece for the time being, but that could last a month and maybe something happens in One Piece and I'm back. But let's say I felt like JJK was better for like a elongated period of time. That's what it would take for me to really be like, yeah. Not only do I like it more right now, I've liked it more for a longer period of time, and that's kind of how I am. Some people can just read something like,
Yeah.
oh no,
Yeah.
go greatest, yada yada. It takes me a long time to get there. I gotta reread it in like a year. Do I still feel the same way about it? You know what I'm saying? Like the things that I've loved and been in my top 10 and top 5 have been things that I can constantly revisit throughout different phases of my life and get something out of it. For example, One Piece, I started, I was about 11 and a half, 12-ish. I was a child, a preteen, if you will. It followed me to my teens, late teens, young adult to adult life. And as I revisit and reread it, there's different things I get out of it every time I go back. Same thing with Tower of God. With my first read, my opinion was different. The second read, to my sixth read. Things I saw differently, things that I didn't pick up on, this, that, and the third. I'm just not. I don't know. Like even with the NBA, like this player is this. Like bro, and I will judge you in year 4. You have 4 years. I'm not turning you into anything until year 4. But I'm patient. That's how I am. So
I agree. I agree with you with the elongated point time. Because to me, like don't like I said, like me and I are on the same page. If Tower God comes back and he's gas, I will forgive all the transgressions that happened in the beginning of season 3. Like it'll still have problems, it'll still take a while, but I'll feel a lot better because season 1 and most of season 2 was pure gas. So he's only had about 1.5 bad arcs of material for me, or just mediocre. So if we're back and he goes back to gas or just shit I care about, I'm back in.
yeah. I mean, I like what's happening right now, the defensive wall and stuff.
Well, it's way better. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think he'll ever be
and
down
dude,
bad.
and dude, my favorite character is back, right? Like I was good.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was having a good time. I had no problem with what was going on with TOG at the time being. Hopefully SC gets better. If he needs to take a break, I'd rather him release every other week than burning out, taking a year off. Yeah, probably he should probably think about taking some like older type breaks or whatever if he needs to. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, no, yeah. Listen, them dog niggas was not it, yo. That's just crazy. All right, good night. Borrow. Yeah, I don't know, man. But we'll see what happens when he comes back. But shit, Unordinary. Yeah, it's cool though.
You know, switch cars tonight. Are you behind me?
It's
Yeah.
cool
Get
though.
up tonight and we leaving early.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, okay.
The thing about Unordinary to me, I agree with Vince. I think the best part about it, to me, not necessarily the theme itself, but I think that it has a good lesson to teach if you look for it there. Like, one thing I find that we don't speak about nearly enough when we are reading stories is like stories usually have like a lesson it wants to teach you. You know what I'm saying? People will will like berate like South Park because it's bigoted and this and that and the third, and I get that. I'm not even telling you not to feel that way if you're like maybe you're Jewish and you're like, okay, Cartman makes too many Jewish. I can't get behind this. I get it, but Cartman's a fucking bad person. You don't want to be like him. That's the point. He's a piece of shit. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason for why it's like that. Yep. So I feel like that gets lost a lot, and like seeing how John is, how society is very might makes right and stuff is to teach us about empathy and things of that nature. So I always felt that Unordinary had a very good lesson, big picture takeaway.
Yep, that's my. And also, I think if I was younger, some of those themes would have hit even harder. I'm a little bit older, and I've kind of gotten through some of those, so like I can still resonate with them. That's probably why I still like the story a little bit better than most people. But it's just like to me, it's one of these stories that if you don't resonate with the themes, you're not gonna like the story. That just it is at the end of the day. Like I said, it's like redemption, forgiveness, the stuff about society. If you don't care about any of that shit when you're reading webtoons, then you're not gonna care about this. Because not a love story, as far as we know. It is not like it's just a societal thing. It's just like environmental versus blah blah blah. Like I said, I was saying earlier, man versus self, man versus man versus society. Those are the type of themes it's touching on. If you don't care about shit like that, if you don't care about shit like that, you're not gonna care about this story.
Yeah.
So,
Do I think Kubera is better than TOG?
He answered. I guess he wasn't here for that.
Yeah, I still have Tower God 1, Kubera 2, but Kurigam's a much better writer than SIU is on his best day.
Yeah, he's that good.
I actually have a like I don't want to. I'm not gonna spoil it now. When I catch up to season 3, depending on what happens, I'm gonna do a little bit of. I'm gonna do a contrasting comparison, not a. This is better than this. I'm gonna talk about where I think they overlap, but I read Kubera and Tower God for different reasons though, so I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yep.
I don't go to them for the same reasons, so I don't get the same thing out of it. So for me, it's not more. I don't want to really compare them like that. I'll contrast and compare them and where they overlap. But if we're talking about from just a writing standpoint, that's not even debatable to me. I think on his best day, SIU is getting outwritten by Kurigam when she's having an off night. That's how I feel about it. So.
Yeah, he was way better at writing shit in season 1, dude.
Mhm.
Like he actually like
I don't think
uh,
he. I don't think he. I don't think he held up his end of the bargain in a lot of the things he initially set up. Where I felt like she did. Like the Tio Rakan thing really shocked me because I didn't realize that when I saw the article or paper of Lisa's friend that he was a triple chaos. So if she was out the paint, Lise would have known her brethren was alive. That's why she used the time spell on thing and Frozen Tear. I said, "Yo, that's actually crazy. What the fuck?" So she go for that. But like with you, I need more fights in that series. But yeah, anywho, how do you feel about Hardcore Leveling Warrior? I love Hardcore Leveling Warrior. The thing about Hardcore Leveling Warrior that I always say is I don't think it does anything crazy. I just have a really good time reading it. But as far as narratives where the character go into like a video game esque world, so your log horizon,
yeah, it's like a top
your
tier
dot,
isekai.
yeah, your dot hack signs, your Axel World, your what the fuck is the obvious one I'm forgetting? Sword Art Online. This
Sword
one
art.
to me
Yeah,
has been the best version of that kind of story, if that makes sense. So
yeah
definitely,
that's what I think it does. That's what I think it does crazy. I also think it does a way better job than any of them balancing the difference between his real world persona and him in the video game.
because like
Uh,
we spoke about this a little bit, but I always felt that in a lot of these games, the punishment for Digimon, oh, Digimon's a good one. A punishment for like dying in the game is either too lenient or too much. I always say you have to be careful with stakes because if you're not careful with them, you can actually completely undercut the tension if the reader, watcher, player doesn't believe that we're ever going to get to that point. I always say I'm a big fan of Shokugeki no Soma, but I can't. But it lost its appeal to me very quickly because anytime he needs to have a Shokugeki with somebody, if you lose, you're expelled. You can't
yeah,
cook
yeah,
ever
yeah.
again. Your friends are expelled. Like that's so much. Like he's not gonna lose, and even if he does, you will not uphold that end of the bargain, right? So like, I don't like when they lean in that far, and I feel like Hardcore Leveling Warrior has the perfect punishment for death. I think it's perfectly in the middle of not too far one way, not too far the other way. So that's just me though. Cause I even think compulsive gambler has that problem. Is it Kageguri, whatever it's called? Like, well, if you lose this fucking game of poker, you're my slave. You're in a 1 billion yen debt. I own your
See,
family. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's so.
no, that yeah, they're always that's funny because it's basically like you that's basically like Yusogi, but Yusogi is like they can get away with that because they actually been playing all the games on a grand scale. It's like you niggas in high school. What are y'all talking about? Shut
Yeah.
up.
Hmm. Yeah. So I feel like the powers in the Hardcore 11 War is pretty great. Actually, Ethan is a really good lead. I'll say that. I think he's a great lead, and I love how he uses his class within the game to his advantage. Like the lucky you know, in the hashtag Lucky Coin Syndicate, y'all already know. You heard me talk about it on the channel. Lucky Coin Syndicate, we out there. So yeah, titties, ass, and food. Oh shit. But yeah, webtoons I think are probably the pretty good place because a lot of people I know read them a lot. Like my little sister reads tons of webtoons, way more than I do. Like Lore Olympus and all that stuff. I haven't kept up with Lore
I
Olympus.
used to
I
read it.
used
I
to
used
read
to read a
that.
lot
What's the
more.
tennis one again? Ecstasy Hearts? Is that what it's called?
Oh yeah, yeah, I think so.
I used to read Ecstasy Hearts. I haven't read Lookism in a long time. I haven't read Windbreaker in a long time. I've dropped, got to high school. I finished Noblesse. That was cool. I've given Noblesse the ultimate pardon for this reason alone. I don't think Frankenstein versus Cromwell disappointed at all. I mean, that was set up from so early, and when it happened, I'm like, I'm satisfied. This didn't disappoint me. It met expectations. 7 out of 10.
There's still some really good webtoons. Like if you like Delinquent Story Society, if you like something similar to An Ordinary, but I think it's
Mm,
written probably a little bit better at this point with certain aspects, then Weak Heroes there.
There's Purple Hyacinth.
Mm.
There's Stray Souls. The Red King. Random Chatting. If the woman ever wrote De Novo, that would have been really because that was the best thing I've seen with a black character in this medium ever.
Mm-hmm.
And I ain't get no more of that, so I'm sick. Uri's pretty good, and yeah, Hardcore Level Warrior, Windbreaker, Omni Grim Reaper, and Ghost. So to me there is definitely a handful of like
Yo, I'm a fraud. Gosu? Oh, I completely forgot that shit existed. Yo!
that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of good webtoons. You just sometimes you have to just go find them. But
I'm
like there's
actually a
just so
fraud.
webtoons does not do a good. And we've talked about this before. Webtoons does not do a good job pushing other stuff, especially outside of the romance genre. A
Son,
lot of their slice of life stuff is just don't be hidden like that, or just beat around the bush. It starts off good,
yeah. They,
and
they,
then it
they
get
lose
boring in the
they
middle.
lose focus and purpose at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah. My friend got me to an ordinary security guard at my college. Honestly, I got into webtoons from about 2010 with Noblesse. I didn't used to read it online webtoon. I didn't know what the site at the time. I don't even know if it was out at the time. I used to read it on mangareader.net at the time.
Yep. Me too. That's how I
That's
read Dice.
yeah, that Dice, the Gamer were amongst my first webtoons. Yeah, hold on. Dice, the Gamer, Noblesse, got a high school. Yeah, like around those ones were like my first ones. Yeah, Gosu was really good though, and Gosu, you have to, I like Gosu. Gosu's probably pretty good if I really like it because I'm not really a meathead, but that's glorious meathead action. I think is really good. Like one thing that I really appreciate about that creative team is I feel like they have a very good understanding of momentum. Like when characters are spinning and coming fast and stuff, I feel like I feel the weight and like the actual momentum and torque of their movement. So if I like flip and do a spinning palm, I feel like it's
Yes,
actually, you know what I'm saying?
yes,
Like yeah, like they're
yeah.
really really good at that. And the action is just so incredible in my opinion. And if you have not already Youngbi the Invincible and stuff, Youngbi takes part in the same universe as a prequel. I would suggest reading some Youngbi stuff just so you can get like a.
I still need to read that.
I feel
But
like
Ghost also,
yeah.
I think it kind of does the overpowered stick a lot better too. Like
Mm.
with the because he does struggle. It's not always a physical struggle, but he struggles with different shit.
Mm.
So I think it does a good job with that. But go ahead.
Shit. I was gonna say, oh, like I feel like I have a little bit of a greater appreciation than most people for Gosu because I recognize when there's old characters from fucking Youngbi. Like even obviously Youngbi was one of them, but like I'm like, oh shit, say word, this dude's back, so stuff like that. So that's good. Yeah, action's on point. Yep, choreography's on point. I haven't read Flow yet. The last new thing I remember picking up and reading was either Weak Here or I Am the Grim Reaper. But there was this one that Alan showed me and I read it at his house at the time. But just because I haven't said it here, just because I'll say it again, just in case anyone doesn't know, webtoons aren't just line webtoons. Webtoons are anything. Like if I post a comic on the internet for people to consume, it's a digital comic. It's a web comic. It's a webtoon. You know what I'm saying? Think I think there's a good period of time where I constantly had to tell people webtoons aren't just these things from Korea from Naver and Line Webtoon. There's other webtoon publishers. There's people who do their own self independent published stories and stuff like that. We even spoke about I Rove Down Truth to Love. That's smut, but that's still a webtoon. Um, there are like, even like Soul Leveling. Soul Leveling is it DNG? Who they pronounce comics? I don't remember who they're published by, but they're
I don't know
not.
how to pronounce it.
They're not.
You know I'm not good with
Yeah,
that.
yeah, they're not online. There's like Tappy Tune and stuff like that. So like, there's different publishers and stuff that do stuff. So, but just remember that they're not only online webtoon and Naver, and they're not just from Korea because I think that's a common misconception you see a lot. The same way people will be like, yeah, my favorite like genre is like seinen, and like seinen's not a genre, dude. It's a fucking demographic. It's a target audience. It's not a genre. A genre is like, fantasy or something, whatever. Like, like psychological, like you being like, oh, the target audience is for young men is not a genre, dude. So let's just keep this just in case someone didn't know. Just keep that in perspective. But all right, you got any final words? Vince?
I'm here.
Oh,
What?
I thought my shit fucked up. Any final words?
Yeah, re-random chatting.
All right. Let me read the chat real quick. I need to be Young B. I'm a fraud and anybody to cop to go. So that's fine. Like I could understand you not knowing that because Young B is like manhwa, but I don't think it was pushed in like a webtoon sense. So I can understand that. So don't worry about that. You know now. I think Dice was my first one.
Oh,
Oh, Dice?
my
Yeah,
bad.
Dice was one of my first one. I never actually finished Dice. Is Dice done? Or is it still ongoing?
No, it's still fucking going.
There's no way on yeah, there's no way Dice is still going. I had not read Dice in like 5 years.
I swear, last time I looked at least, it was still going.
That's so fucking wild to me. That's crazy. Never got that argument, either did I. I never got it. But let's see what happens on Ordinary. I'll try not to go so long without talking about it. I apologize for that. I gotta get back on hardcore leveling warrior. But yeah, just bear with me. Let me get through Kubera. I'll be done.
No, it's all good. Re-random chatting after you get through all your other shit, and we'll be a lot better.
No. After Kubera, I'll get on that after. After Kubera, let me catch up to hardcore, and then then I'll do random training. Let me catch up to hardcore, and then I'll do that. So yeah. What? All right. Wait. Last time I read it, they were facing God. I'm not. I have nothing. Dice has run its course for me. I read what I read. I enjoyed what I read, and I got out of there. It is what it is. You guys be safe. We'll be back tomorrow with another stream. Yeah, Webtoons out. You're